I just made a conscious decision that I didn't want to context switch anymore. So, and that led to me getting the tagline of, I'm an individual first. Before anything else that I do, especially work related, I'm an individual. I'm Candace first, because this job or whatever, they're going to move on without me. Things are going to change. Technology is going to change. Everything's going to progress. But at the end of the day, I'm still me. I still have my essence to fall back on. So,
welcome to the Technical Creative, a show produced by STEMedia, about professional development and growth in both the technical and creative spaces. My guest today is Candace Margaux. She is a dope individual who happens to be a project manager. Now, if you want to learn how she got from STEM to project management, what celebrities she would choose for her startup team, and why you're already a project manager, stay tuned today on the Technical Creative. Candace, thank you for coming. Can we get? Listen,
thank you for having me.
I normally do like daps, but I'm just gonna simplify it with the pound because it can get kind of awkward if we don't
do it that right.
You feel me? You feel me? Yeah. So I just had to make sure. Right. Thanks for coming on the Technical Creative Show.
Yes, thank you for having me.
I'm super happy to have you. Listen, I'm gonna start off with a riddle. I don't know if you heard this riddle before. You got the chicken, you got the fox, and the grain. Have you heard that?
No.
All right, listen, I'm with a project manager. Let's see if the project manager can get this riddle.
Okay.
You're on one side of the water. You got a chicken, fox, and grain. You got a boat. You got to get all three of them to the other side of the water. But you can only take one at a time. Obviously, if you leave the fox with the chicken, it'll eat the chicken. Chicken will eat the grain. But you got to get them all on the other side. What is the order in which you would bring those three things, one at a time, to the other side of the water? Fox, chicken, grain.
So my project manager answer would be, can we table this until next week? I think we need to recollect, regroup as a team.
We need to regroup.
And we can have a better answer for you in a couple of days.
I think that was the best answer right there. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to just put yourself out there and then make a mistake, right?
Right.
I feel you.
We need to make sure we have our ducks in a row. Our chickens and foxes in a row.
Chicken, foxes, and grains in a row. Absolutely. Yes. Yep. No, I had that riddle when I was a kid. And I just want to start that way because I thought it was interesting because you are a dope individual who happens to be
a project manager. Yep.
Look, I've heard you say, Candace, that really when it comes to project management, everybody's a project manager. They just may not realize it.
Yeah.
Break that down for me.
Yeah. So, definition of project management is organizing a group of tasks to achieve a goal.
Okay.
That's the simplified version of project management. So, name a time that you've done that today.
I did today where, say this definition, trying to
organizing a group of tasks to achieve a goal.
Oh, that's a lot. I went to the gym. I had to get my gym clothes. I had to get my weightlifting gloves. I had to get everything.
You had to put them all together.
Yeah.
You had to schedule out your time that you're going to arrive to the gym.
Exactly.
You had to figure out how long you were going to stay in the gym.
I had to get my scan code to get inside the gym and all that. Yep.
Make sure you had all your equipment. You had to figure out the order that you were going to attack the gym.
That is true.
Everything.
Yes.
All of that, all you got to do is just put that into a project plan, and now you're a project manager.
So I project managed the mess out of that workout this morning. I attacked that gym, in case y'all wonder. So you're telling me that every project that we coordinate in our lives, whether or not it involves other people, whether or not we get paid for it, whether or not, anyone cares, it's still project management.
It's the activity of managing a project. So that's what a project is. The other important piece that separates project management from just general management is that it has a start and a finish, a beginning and an end.
Okay.
So bringing it back to business terms, let's say that you work at Amazon. I like to use this example. You work at Amazon. You as a supervisor of a shift, you're scheduling people, you're organizing where people have to be, looking at the quantities or the quotas that people have to meet. You're doing that on an everyday basis, and you're doing that over and over again until you stop being the manager at Amazon. Like, it's an ongoing activity.
Gotcha.
A project would be, let's say, you need to update, let's put in new conveyor belts, whatever, at Amazon. So now we got to sit down, figure out what are the requirements, how big are the belts going to be, are we going to take the warehouse down for a day to install these conveyor belts, all these different considerations. And then at the beginning of the project, we have no conveyor belts. We're figuring all that out. At the end of the project, we have conveyor belts. So the project is finished.
Right.
Everything is.
So it's a subset of the entire life cycle of your job, right? It's like individual building blocks of what make up your job, the projects.
Not even, it doesn't have to be job related, but it's just, in my example, being a manager, it's just an ongoing activity. You do it all the time. As a project manager or a project is something that has an end. So you install those conveyor belts and then you move on to the next project.
To the next project, yeah.
Right.
All right, so if everybody does it, this is the question then. If everybody does it, they may not realize it. Why can't I just roll into a company and be like, yo, I'm a project manager. Let me get $100,000. Like, what's good? What's the difference between somebody doing it in their regular life versus someone getting a bag for it? Because I understand that's part of like what motivates you too.
Yeah.
Like, all right, where's the gap? Like, how do I clean that gap between just doing it and not realizing it to actually get 6 figures?
A lot of people can cook, right?
Okay.
But they're not 5-star chefs.
Ooh.
Can they cook well?
Ooh, okay.
Do they know their procedures? Do they know their processes? Do they know health regulations? Things like that. So
there's more to it in the career side of things, right? So what are some of those things that you did? Because if I understand correctly, just to get your journey straight, you didn't start off like you didn't go to college. You went to college for like in the STEM path, right? To be an engineer, mathematics. That was your original intent, or at least major.
That was my original major.
Okay.
It was. So my major, that's a whole different story about my major, but it was mathematics and organizational management.
Yes. Okay.
So, but I'm a little different. I was a little nerdy coming out of school. And my motivation, you kind of touched on it. My motivation was I wanted to make $100,000 a year before I was 30.
You're trying to get to the bag.
I was trying to get to the bag. So whatever took me that route, if it was stripping at Magic City,
oh man,
I would have been the best stripper, most certified stripper.
They didn't have that major though.
They didn't have that major. So I had to figure out something else. So I wanted to get into tech. I knew tech paid a lot of money. But just so happened in conversation that I got introduced to the project management professional certification.
Okay.
And with that certification, there was an article and it said that you could make $100,000 a year with that certification.
Yeah.
And so that was my whole focus going through school. But at the time, there was no career path or there's no degree path for project management.
Got you.
Yeah. So I knew that I wanted to get in IT, so I took the IT route to get that background, but I had in my mind that I was going to do project management. Like that was something that I knew at the time. But nowadays, people know more about it. It was definitely the best kept secret when I started. So about 10 years ago, I've been in my career. It was definitely not well known. Now people are learning about it.
Now it's like YouTube ads, like, yo, come over and hop in project management.
Right.
But for you found out about the certification. So, was that necessary? And if it isn't necessary, what does that do for you?
Yes. So it's not necessary. Then that's another reason why I say everybody is a project manager. They just don't know it.
Okay.
But to get into the field, to get a job, you don't necessarily have to have that certification.
Yep.
Some companies can require it to work at their company, but you don't need that to be a project manager. So what you do need is just experience managing projects.
Right.
And if you are able to convert your everyday experience into something that has a start and a finish, and you can talk about the different things you've done in that project and learn the project management language, then you can just literally apply for a job as a project manager.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But the certification, I guess it tells them, like a degree in some respects, it tells your potential employers that, hey, this individual knows some things about project management.
Yeah, the certification does exactly what it says. It certifies you. It stamps you as someone who knows project management.
Okay.
What I tell my people that I mentor, the certification, if you want to go that route and get that certification, that's the first step. That's not even the first step. That's one step.
Yeah.
You still got to get your resume together. You still got to interview for the job. Then you got to still do the work. Like I said, everybody can cook. Like a lot of people can cook, but everybody's not a chef. So just because you do project management, you get that certification, doesn't mean you're a project manager or you're even a good project manager.
Exactly. So, and not that and even if you don't have a certification, that doesn't mean that you're a bad project manager. Right. It's just kind of all one big combination. It makes sense. That's how a lot of careers are. Yeah. But, in your case, you're already in school. You end up kind of finding your own route, going to the certification, ultimately being your goal, so you can make your $100,000 by 30.
Yep.
Which I'm sure you hit.
Yeah, I did. I actually hit it at 24. It's crazy.
Hey, listen, slight flex. No. You know what I mean? Humble brag, 24. No, that's good. That's good. So can you tell me about a time where, I guess, early in the process where you felt like maybe it wasn't going to work out, or maybe it got a little tough for you, or you got a little lost? Like, was there any, trouble?
Yeah, so... again, like I said, I was a nerd and a great nerd. I was a cool nerd.
Cool nerd.
So I got my career started I started my career through internships. So I got internships. But I got my internship off of Googling, just researching, applying to random things until I just landed an internship. Yeah. So the biggest transition for me was going from an internship to an actual role. Okay. And trying to progress my career throughout that role. So on another podcast I've done, I talked about like age discrimination. And
you experienced when you were getting into the field.
Yeah. So that's a form of discrimination that's not always talked about.
True.
So as I was trying to move from entry-level college student into getting like real projects and real work, a lot of people would keep things from me because they would say, "Oh, you're too young."
They was hating.
Yeah.
Man, they just didn't like the fact that you were on the track to, I guess, one day be their boss.
Yeah. Or replace them. Ooh. So like I said, at the time, this field was not well known. So the people who are working it were middle-aged, retirement-age people, doing this job. They've been doing it for years. They fell into it and they just never, ventured off anywhere else.
Right.
So now here comes this little young,
whip behind the ears,
right, who is excited and ready to work and hasn't been tainted by corporate culture, anything. So I feel like that, going back to your question, I feel like that was a difficult transition for me to be able to grow into the project manager that I am, or even grow into my career in general. Yeah. So, and the way I figured that out is by just gaining confidence. I feel like that is really the number one thing that anyone needs when they're trying to progress to a different level. It's just having confidence in yourself and believing in yourself that you are deserving of that next level and that you can get there.
Absolutely. So, absolutely. Yeah. No, I hope people listen. I hope y'all hear that. Confidence is really big because I think sometimes a person can have all of the skills, all of the competencies, but because they lack confidence, they never can really activate it. And they just end up floundering. And then it's like, yo, what's going on? Like we see it in sports all the time, right? We see, I'm not trying to call it names, but we see people get to the league and it's like, yo, what happened to what happened to that dog you had? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think something about you is unique, and people will ever come across your online presence. Like you have a lot of confidence and authenticity. Yes. You know what I mean? Like you got the grill, you got, you doing your thing.
Today.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. We're going to have to figure something out because I'm going to have to get one. We'll see.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, where did that come from you? Like, hey, where did your personal swag come from? Because you got it. You know what I'm saying? It's dripping. I was like, man, we got to make sure we get this cleaned up around here. You know what I'm saying? But also, like, what has been like the secret to you hanging on to it?
That's a good question. So hanging on to my authenticity. Yeah. So I think losing it is the secret. Okay. So I felt, like I told you, my whole motivation early on in my career, I wanted the bag. I wanted the money. And I was going to say desperate, but that's not the right word. But I was willing to make certain compromises.
You were very focused, money, just money motivated.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I got into corporate America and I started to take on this persona, or context switching type of persona, which a lot of people that look like me have to go through that.
Definitely, all the time.
And one day I realized, like, going back and forth, like talking at my job and then going to talk to my friends, I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I am me, and I want to be me in all spaces. So from there, I just made that decision personally to show up as me, whether it's in the workplace or with my friends. Yeah. Certain things I might tone down on both fronts, but I just made a conscious decision that I didn't want to context switch anymore. So, and that led to me getting the tagline of, I'm an individual first. Before anything else that I do, especially work-related, I'm an individual. I'm Candace first, because this job or whatever, they're going to move on without me. Things are going to change. Technology is going to change. Everything's going to progress. But at the end of the day, I'm still me. I still have my essence to fall back on. So I became a dope individual who just happens to be a project manager.
We got to let that breathe, Joe. Joe, we got to let that breathe. That was good. I hope y'all heard that. You know what I mean? Listen, so that being the case, again, you got your online persona is so dope. I was so excited to have you come on up here.
Thank you.
I think that you bring something to the field just by being yourself. Because I'm always big on purpose. Like, just by being yourself, you can fulfill certain roles, meet certain problems, bring certain solutions that only you can in a unique way.
Yes.
Right. And if you're trying to like emulate or simulate other people, the world is missing out on what you could bring to the table.
Right.
And then your job is just really just a vehicle.
Right.
For you to fulfill that purpose. So
right.
no, I think you're doing it in amazing ways. And the fact that you had to fight through, discrimination of different sorts and even your own inner temptation to try to fit in makes you more resilient on the other side, right? And so now you have this confidence where that is, okay, that's how you handle sort of the external pressures of the career. But I feel like even in project management itself, there are a number of like just challenges when it comes to dealing with people, when it comes to deadline stuff. Let me ask you, all right, so we got people who probably are leaders, right? They're probably looking to get into a leadership role. They may be a technically trained person, but now they're in a leadership role. And I'm gonna give you some situations. I'm actually, what would you do? All right.
Oh, goodness.
All right. They're not gonna be crazy, but this is what would you do in a scenario. Let's say initially, right, we're on a project together and you have me on your team.
Okay.
I'm gonna improv this person and I'm just not doing what I'm supposed to do. Like I'm just underperforming, right? But you are not in a position where you can just straight out fire me. You've inherited me on your team,
right?
And everybody knows that I'm just thinking it up. But you got to address the situation. How would you handle this situation?
Yeah, I deal with this situation all the time.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
no shade.
right? Yeah.
All right.
No shade. Not a lot of shade.
Not a lot of shade. Some shade. A little bit.
Shade.
Yeah.
But yeah, so typically when I come across those types of team members, I try to talk to them first. Like, at the end of the day, everybody's a person.
Yep.
So if I can just have a conversation with you and say, hey, we really need XYZ work done because it's going to impact whatever us getting this cutover done by the end of the year. I will try to kind of pick your brain, kind of see what motivates you.
Okay.
I find that performance motivates a lot of people, so be able to have a good performance review at the end of the year.
Oh, okay.
I typically will use, actually a recent scenario, like I have projects that need to be done by the end of the year. And I'm like, hey, I know you kind of, have a lot on your plate right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a scapegoat. No, I don't
got a lot on my plate. I'm actually chilling. You're going to help them out, though. You're going to help them out.
I'm going to give you a scapegoat, right. But then I'm going to say, we have these projects that we need to have them done by the end of the year. If we get them done, everybody's going to have this on their performance review. I've been at this company for a while. I know how they judge, kind of progress and give good ratings. And they give good ratings by people getting work done. So can you help me so I can get a good rating at least, and you can get a good rating? Oh, so you're
saying if I help you get a good rating, you're going to help me get a good rating?
I'm going to help you get a good rating.
I see.
We're going to trade off, and we're going to have that relationship work. And
all you had to do is say this. Don't talk.
Right.
All right, cool.
Yeah, so we're going to figure that out.
We're going to figure it out. All right, what about this situation, though? Let's say you actually missed a requirement. Like you run it. You missed it. You made a mistake because none of us is perfect. Right. I'm sure you're pretty close. But let's say one of these days you just happen to have missed a requirement. You find out like last minute before the deadline.
Yep.
I'm off work, me and the team off work, but in order to get this requirement met, you got to get us to work overtime, past time, or whatever to meet it before the deadline. What would you do to try to get these people who really don't owe you it, but you need them to get on board and make this thing happen?
First thing I'm going to do is bribe them. To be honest.
You going to bribe them?
Yes.
What, you talking about a performance review or like you going to be like, yo,
no, whatever.
What kind of drink you like?
So
like
I have to figure out, so you got to know your team. So as a project manager, like 80-90% of your job is communication.
Okay.
And to be an effective communicator, you got to know the people who you're communicating to.
Facts.
So if you are a good project manager, you know your team, you know kind of what they like. So, maybe they like to drink. Okay. Drinks on me. So, I messed up.
Yeah.
I'm going to take accountability. I'm going to take responsibility of the requirement that
that's important, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah. Yes. And be vulnerable. Right. And, people respond better when you're vulnerable with them and when you're truthful with them. So I'll be truthful. I missed this. And, it might take y'all a little bit longer to do.
I might need a little bit of weekend work.
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm going to use our contingency budget for you to charge overtime.
Okay. Whatever
you need to get done.
Yeah.
And, y'all want to do a happy hour. So as soon as it gets done, happy hour on me. We're going to go out for drinks after work.
Wow. After we get it done, though.
After it's finished. So would you do it?
Would I do it?
Yeah.
Well, I don't drink, so you didn't get to know me enough.
What do you do?
Candace, apparently you don't even know who I am.
All right, so Amazon gift card?
You know what? Actually, I think I could use the Amazon gift card. Yeah.
Okay, 2 gift cards if you get it done 2 days sooner.
2 gift cards?
Yeah.
What you need me to do? Go ahead.
All right, there we go.
Let's
we
make
back
this thing happen. No, I love it. I love it. And you said something very important. I think that came up in that scenario. You know, you got to know your team, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times we assume people are motivated by what we're motivated by, or sometimes people try to use fear, just straight up fear. But like, what tips do you have for any leaders like watching this when it comes to building that relationship, getting to know people? Like, what are some of the things you found that really helps to build that relationship and that understanding of team members?
I think that the it comes from showing a genuine interest in understanding people.
Okay.
I can't think of the way I want to phrase this, but I'm going to do my best. So like just sitting back and listening when you're coming into a situation that you're leading people and letting them tell you what they need instead of trying to impose a certain direction on them before you have a full understanding of the situation.
Okay.
So I say that when you ask the question, the first thing that came to mind is me coming into like projects that are already in bad situations or like coming into the middle of a project and trying to take on that leadership role and direct people what to do. And it's like the people who are already doing it, they're not going to respond well. You coming in and just barking orders.
Okay.
Because they're going to be like, you haven't been here.
Right.
Like, you wasn't with us shooting in the gym. Like, you don't know what's going on. You got no skin in the game. What are you doing over here? So, but if I came in there and asked, what do you think should happen? What do you think are the next steps? And you provide your opinion. You provide, what are the gaps that you're seeing?
Yeah.
And then I take that feedback and then I act on it. Then I know I usually have better response and better participation from people who are involved.
Right.
And then same thing. So my advice to leaders was your original question.
Yeah.
My advice to leaders would be to do the same thing. Like take a step back. Like you as a leader doesn't mean that you are always giving orders. Sometimes you as a leader, it's you stepping back and listening to the people and listening to what their needs are and helping them fulfill those needs.
Got it. I love it. That's a good answer, man. Hey, yeah, she knows her stuff. She knows her stuff. All right. Hey, she knows her stuff. She knows her stuff. All right. So Candace, I think that's great because it really seems like you're managing people and tasks. There's a leadership part with the people, and then it's like the real legitimate like black and white aspects of the job itself. But you yourself, you're not all black and white.
I'm not.
You know what I mean? You got a lot of aspects.
Red and pink.
Multidisciplinary.
Pink and green.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
Hey, she's represented.
Yes.
All right.
We got a lot of colors going over here.
We cool.
Not just black and white.
All right. Awesome. Well, let me ask you this, though. One of the things I've learned about you is that you hoop.
I do.
You play ball.
Well,
you used to play ball. She said before somebody called me out. She's like, I used to.
Yeah,
so you used to. You play ball in college or what was it?
I did not play basketball in college. Just
high school.
In school.
Okay.
But I did referee in college.
Do you still referee?
I do not currently right this moment, but I can go pick up a whistle and get out there. Pick a whistle
and run up and down the court.
Yes.
All right. Cool. Get some good cardio in.
Yes.
All right. Well, check this out. Here's a question. This is a new segment. Shout out to my producer who has no idea I was going to bring the segment up. Shout out to you too, Joe. This is the Startup Starting 5.
Okay.
All right. So this is the segment Startup Starting 5. And in this segment, you and I are starting a startup.
Okay.
All right. I'm a bankroller. I'm a visionary and I got the budget. I'm like, yo, let's make this thing happen. But I hired you as my project manager. You're my leader.
Right.
Right. So we 2 of the 5. You know, when you go to a gym, you're like, you got your 5 or whatever. Yeah. We ain't got our 5 yet. Right. So we need like 3 more people on our squad. I'm assuming we're going to need, and you can modify this if you want. We're going to need somebody to actually be the technician, to actually do the work. Like whatever the technical aspects are, we may need somebody to be on top of our data. Right, our information or our data analysts, and then we're going to need somebody that can deploy resources, maybe like handle the money or just whatever the case may be. And if you had to pick those 3 last people to be on our 5, our startup starting 5, who would they be? And here's the twist: they have to be a celebrity.
A celebrity? Okay.
Who would you pick and why for those last 3 spots? Me and you, we about to run. We got next, and we about to start this startup, this technical startup. We about to take it to the moon.
So we said we need a SME, a subject matter expert.
Yep, subject matter expert.
On the technical side. We need a resource manager who can get us people and things, depending on what we need. And
data analyst.
We need someone who can analyze the data, make sure that we're pulling in the information that we need.
And obviously, we won't know people personally, but based on their persona, Who are these celebrities you would pick?
Good. Well, I'm gonna have Beyonce on the team regardless.
Beyonce? All right, cool. Number one. We running with Beyonce. All right, which role would Beyonce play on the squad?
I would say she would be the SME.
Okay.
Because I don't know how much you know about Beyonce, but yeah, she's an entertainer, but she also, it's like she knows every aspect of her show, of her craft.
Yep.
So producing, the entertainment piece, singing, putting things together, putting people in places.
Yes.
So I think that she's good at looking at the whole picture overall.
She's gonna know her stuff.
She's gonna know it.
All right, cool. I like this squad so far. Me, you, Beyonce. Listen. All right.
And she gonna make sure we win. She
not taking losing.
No.
All right, cool. So who else we got?
So resources, a celebrity.
Yep.
Hold on, we can come back to that one.
Okay.
So resources, data.
Yeah, they got to pull in the information. They're gonna have to make sure we accurate with the info.
You know who I'm gonna pick?
Who you gonna pick?
Kanye.
But you gonna have to listen. You talk about bribing your teammates. You gonna have to be very.
But we gonna get the information we need. His mind is gonna go to the ends of the earth.
Listen, he gonna put it all in. You gonna be like, yo, Kanye, we can name this team after you if you want us to. As long as you bring us this right data.
He's gonna hit the way his mind thinks.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing.
Okay.
I ain't gonna get on my high horse. I just went to the Beyonce shows. That's why
I figured you. I was like, she must came from the war too.
And it was great. It was great. But like just certain stuff that he said, it might not make sense like when he said it right then and there. But like if you digest it and like years later, so we were kind of talking about when he went on stage for Taylor Swift and he said Beyonce had the best album of the year, whatever the situation was. Like everybody thought he was crazy. But like we went to the show and we're like, Beyonce compared to Taylor Swift?
Like different levels here.
I like Taylor Swift, don't get me wrong.
Like she's a superstar.
Yes, she is.
But Beyonce, like it's only one Beyonce.
And we were like, Kanye, he wasn't crazy. Like we just weren't ready.
So the thing is, on our squad though, we just have to make sure we're ready. That's all.
Yeah,
like Kanye, which one? Like, as long as we ready to digest it, we'll be all right.
And he got his meds. All right. He's gonna be good. I think data wise, we got Kanye.
All right, cool. So now we need the resources. Right? Somebody we can trust. Somebody we can trust on this one.
So,
me, you, Beyonce, Kanye.
I don't know if they're considered a celebrity, but I'm picking Jeff Bezos.
Oh, of course, he's a celebrity. Oh, listen.
If he's a celebrity.
If we got Jeff Bezos, I ain't doing no work.
So I think Jeff got all the resources that we could ever.
Come on, man. Listen.
Ever need.
Jeff got it. Pass on the ball. He got the rock. You know what I'm saying?
If he don't got it, he know where to get it.
Exactly. So he gonna have the resources. He got Amazon.
He got Amazon Web Services and Amazon.
You know what I'm saying? All I got is 2 gift cards you gave me a couple seconds ago.
And you can get a lot. I didn't tell you how much is on the gift card.
You didn't tell me what was on, but we got Jeff Bezos. I don't even need my gift cards.
You don't need them.
I'm like, yo, Candace gave me these gift cards.
And he's going to give us like 15 more. So we're good.
We got the founder. Yeah. No, I like that. All right, so we got me, you, Beyonce, Jeff Bezos, Kanye. Cool. I like that. I think that's a nice squad. Like we're gonna be billionaires at minimum.
Oh yes, at minimum. Right. Even if the project don't finish, we're gonna get paid.
Hey, at minimum, we're gonna get to the bag. Like, yeah. I love it. Hey, well, thank you.
Good. I like that segment.
Cool. Well, thank you for playing along on our brand new segment, Startup Starting 5. Cue graphics. All right. So let's go back to this, right? About people who are like interested in getting into this particular career path, right? What would you say are maybe the top 3 skills that you want them? Because you mentioned a lot, but like if a person is, let's say the person is already technically trained, they got a degree in engineering or they got a degree in computer science or whatever, right? But they're like, you know what? I actually want to get to the project management level. What 3 skills would you say they should maybe focus on and really sharpen?
That's a good question. So I would definitely say stakeholder management.
Okay, explain that.
That's being able to talk to stakeholders, whether that be people or project sponsors, they have the check, they're writing for your project, or people who are just invested in how successful your project is, or people who need your project to do their job. Okay. So being able to talk and communicate to stakeholders at every level, whether it's executive level all the way down, not down, but peer level. Okay. Across. So all of that is wrapped up in stakeholder management, being able to communicate to people and being able to manage their expectations.
Okay.
If things are going well with the project, being able to communicate that. If they're not going well with the project, communicate that, tell them how you're going to fix it, different things like that. So stakeholder management is definitely a top skill.
Okay. That's number one.
Second skill, I would say budget and resource management. So being able to manage the money behind it. And
what if they suck at personal finance then? Does that correlate at all? Like if someone's like, yo, I'd be splurging on brunch all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think so because at least for me, the money when I'm working, so we're talking about in the
job,
in
right?
the job context. Yeah. So when I'm working, like that's not my money.
So you can be more disciplined in that type of environment than okay. So when you say the skill, the reason why I'm asking is because like if I'm listening to this and I'm like, I got to be better than it. Like, man, that's not really my bag. But you're saying like, as long as they can do so,
like as long as you know, okay, I have $100. This costs $110. We can't afford that because I'm going to be negative $10.
Math.
We have to get the $90 one.
Got it.
As long as you can do that, I think you're okay. When you get into the actual workplace, there are tools and things that are out there that you can use to help you deal with that, and they'll show you red if you're over budget for your project.
Got you.
You don't have enough money. So, but being able to know, just really I won't say the basics because when you're getting into the job, it's not really necessarily the basics, but being able to just, keep track of where you are with the budget and not overspending. And then also, I say resource management because that plays into the budget. So resource could be people. Are people charging the right amount of time to your project? Do you have the right amount of people on your project?
Right.
Also, like physical or technical resources. Like if you're a construction project manager, how much does the material cost?
Right.
If you're a technical project manager, do we have software that we need, licenses that we need to purchase? So being able to oversee that and make sure that you're within the range of where you're supposed to be, I think is a very important skill to have.
Okay. All right. So that's two: resource management, stakeholder management, and then number 3.
Yes. So tools, a specific tool that every project manager should know is Microsoft Project. So you cannot purchase like a license, just like you can get on Word and Excel. You as anybody can get the license.
Oh, to get Microsoft Project?
Yeah. Anybody can go and download Excel and all that, pay Microsoft to get a license, and you can go and practice at home. Project is not as simple. Okay. That's set up for like more enterprise. They want businesses to buy it, so it's a little more expensive. But people that I mentor, I tell them, if there are classes that you can take from Microsoft Project, or you can get on Udemy, get a quick course. YouTube is a great resource. University, yes, to go look up Microsoft Project. But Microsoft Project is a tool that's used by every type of project management. We haven't really talked about that yet, but there's IT project management, but there's project management everywhere in every industry: construction, legal, finance.
Well, I love that you're being practical because the third skill you said is basically just get good at this software. Right. What are some of the other tools? Let's go ahead and list out because you're in IT project management. What are some of the tools you are aware of, whether or not you use them, that are very big, just so people can Google them and see what they're all about?
So definitely Trello is is another tool, and Trello is a tool that you can use in your everyday life as well. You can get it for free. Asana is a project management tool. Agile.
So I've heard a lot about Agile. That's enterprise for real right there, right?
So Agile is a methodology of how you manage, how you complete projects. Not even manage, but how you complete projects.
Got it.
So if you're in the Agile space, y'all can Google that term. Jira, Atlassian is the company that creates. So Jira and Confluence are big Agile products. Also Azure DevOps. So that's Microsoft's version of Jira. So that's a big one when it comes to managing Agile projects. So
listen, she said, if you want me to like go deep, I can get deep.
Yeah, we want to, but you brought up a good point. Like I'm here, I'm listening, so I try to say things that people can put on their resume
right away.
And I help people do their resumes, and these are the tools that I recommend that people do. However, I don't recommend you put them on there until you go and do at least a YouTube crash course on them, because anything you put on your resume is fair game.
Yes,
a lot of people don't. They think that I'm gonna beef up my resume, put all this stuff out there, and then get in the interview, and they're like, "Okay, tell me about your experience with Jira." You're like, what?
Right. We got that. We got a link. We got a clip out there of a former guest, Bobby. He said that like people go on ChatGPT and they just like, what are the top things to go on
Right,
a resume?
right.
And they'll put it there and it's
Right.
like you said, all right, assessment time.
Right. Exactly.
Tell me about the time that you used this and
Yes.
what was the impact, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. No, that's real. That's real. And I think that, you know, all this is great. And I love, again, your holistic. I love the fact, again, you can go broad talking about your life in various aspects, but then you can go deep in your field, right?
Okay.
And you once said that it's a best practice for projects to have, you know, a success criteria or specifications that you have to meet. And I'm just curious, what is Candace's life success criteria?
That's a great question. So that's still being developed.
Okay.
It's still being developed. However, what it is right now, I'm very, like I said, very nerdy. I like to map things out. Same way I map out my projects, I map out my life.
Okay.
So right now, my mission is to have the most optimal experience possible while I'm here on this earth.
Gotcha.
So optimal can mean a lot of different things at different points in my life. So if I'm doing what I want to do and I'm doing it wholeheartedly and I feel good about it, to me, that's optimal.
Okay.
So that's what I'm trying to do. I actually have a tattoo. I forgot what hand.
Okay.
Y'all can't see it.
What is it?
So I have a tattoo. It's a heart and a feather. And without getting up to all of the details, there's an Egyptian goddess Maya, and she weighs your heart against the weight of a feather when she's at the entrance of heaven. And if it's lighter than a feather, then that means you're without sin and you can enter heaven. So I took the meaning and spun it. I spun it.
I got you. It's a still podcast.
IT project manager, not a grammar.
It's not English, right? Not an English podcast.
I took the meaning and spun it and put my heart as lighter than the feather, meaning that I'm without regret. When I leave this earth, I've done everything that I wanted to do. I said everything that I wanted to say. Like, I didn't hold on to anything when I left. So for me, that, again, plays into my most optimal existence. I did everything that I came here to do, you know, that I wanted to.
You left on empty.
I left on empty. I left on E.
On E.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. Another gem that you just dropped. Hey, we gotta let that breathe, Joe. I love it. I love it, Candace. Well, hey, really quick, I got two final questions, but really quick. What you got going on? You mentioned how you do a couple of things. How can you help people? I know you know, again, you mentioned you do resume reviews and things like that. Tell the people how you can help them if they're looking to get into the space.
Yeah, so I have a community, a growing community. I said we would change the name by now, but the name is what it is. Everybody like it. It's the Get Money Project Management Group.
Hey,
okay.
Get money.
Get to the bag.
Get to the bag. Project
Management Group.
Is that acronym? Get money. GM. PM. Anyway, I'm not gonna try that. Anyway, Get Money Project Manager. Go ahead.
It's more so emojis.
Okay. I like that though. That's creative.
I don't know if you get acronym emojis.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, that's our group. So in that group, I do monthly meetups. So actually, the next one is gonna be October. Haven't set the date, but when I do my meetups, I like to have a topic so that people have, you know, something they can pull from the meetup as well as networking. I don't like when people come to a networking event, or I come to a networking event and it's just like you have to figure out how to network.
Right.
I think at least if you have a topic, you have a common ground where you can start from.
Right.
So we do monthly meetups, virtual and in person. I also do an intro to project management class once a month as well, virtual and in person in Atlanta, Georgia.
ATL.
Mentioned that. I'm based out of Atlanta.
Yeah.
Also, I host a study group for the Project Management Professional, the PMP certification.
Got it.
So we just started our group for the last session for the year.
Okay.
But it's definitely open for people to join. So I do an 8-week prep course that we follow along with, and then a 4-week study period. So in all, it's 12 weeks. And at the end of the 12 weeks, the idea is that you take the test and you get your project management certification.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things we offer in that group. I also do offer services for me specifically. So I do resume reviews for people who are trying to get that project management certification. You have to submit an application. You have to do experience reviews or draft your experience. So I do application assistance as well.
That's major.
So, and going back to what we were talking about earlier, a lot of people have the experience, but they just don't know how to put it in the project management terms. So that's what I do in those application reviews. And then I have a job assistance package where I literally like hold your hand from, I'm interested in this.
You gonna get us a job?
Yeah, I help people. I help people get.
That's like career
jobs.
coaching in a sense.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
So I help you from I'm interested in doing this, all the way through getting your PMP if that's what you're interested in. If you don't want to go that route, like I said, you don't have to, but all the way through that, setting up your resume, coaching you through the interview process, and I stay with you for the next 2 to 3 months on your job.
To get started, get comfortable.
You make sure that you're good, and then I let you off and fly.
Let them fly. Make sure they can answer questions they might get in the first couple of weeks.
Yep. So a lot of stuff I offer, they can find it at end-to-end, E-N-D, E like Eric, N like Nancy, D like dog, end-to-end, 2.podia.com. That's my site. And you can have all of my products are listed there. All of the information about them are listed there. So, yeah.
There you have it. And we're going to put this in the description so y'all can click on it and get to it. And you get some help from Candace. Candace, that's dope. Yes. And then, like, on top of all that, can a person hire you? You're a freelance. I mean, what is it? You're an independent contractor.
I am an independent
project manager.
Yes, I'm an independent.
So if I got a project and I'm like, yo, can you hit up Beyonce and Jeff Bezos and tell them, we need to get this tech startup going?
We can get it going. Whatever you need. Whatever you need.
Hey, I love that. That's dope. That's dope. So you're working for various companies. I'm sure you've probably seen projects. I think you even been involved in like a company that's working with Coachella.
Yes.
And like
so then that's the beauty of project management too. So like I said, we talked a lot about IT, but project management is so broad. It's so many avenues that you can get into with it. Yeah. But I am particularly biased to IT because IT itself is so broad.
Yes, it is.
So I've worked from places. I've worked for Beachbody. Do you know Beachbody?
Yes, I do.
Insanity, P90X.
Yes.
Shakeology.
So you've worked with them?
I work. That was my $100,000 mark.
Hey, that's when you crossed. That was your milestone. Yeah,
that was my milestone. I really like that company. But I worked there in their IT department. So that was healthcare and fitness.
Right.
I did work for AEG. Yeah. So AEG is the company that owns Coachella. Okay. They used to manage the Staples Center, which is now called the Crypto Center.
Crypto.com Arena. Yeah, in LA. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I've managed IT projects for them. I've done healthcare, worked for this company called Allscripts. So worked in
Allscript, I know Allscripts.
They do e-prescription, healthcare, different softwares that doctors' offices and hospitals use for prescriptions. So it's just like so many different things.
You just like dip your toe in so many things. Yeah.
So that's fantastic. It's very versatile. And I'm glad that people are finding interest in it because I was a lone soldier for a long time.
Right.
But a lot of people are getting into it. It's definitely a career field. I think you mentioned, or maybe not you, somebody mentioned recently.
I don't know.
They were working and they liked their job. Their job was satisfying.
Oh, right.
And that it really resonated with me. And I feel like project management is one of those things, like I said, you do it in everyday life. You do it, you don't even know it. And then you could go to work and do the same thing and get paid for it.
And get a bag.
A lot of money.
Get that guap.
Right. And it could be satisfying.
Listen, well, I'm so thankful that you stopped by here. I'm so thankful that the audience can hear about how you can help them, get to the bag and get to this career that seems to fit people who have various interests and various desires to learn about different things. And that's what this podcast is all about, the Technical Creative. We're not just technical, but we're creative and we're eclectic in so many ways. And you, Candace, are a representative of that.
Yes.
And so as we prepare to close, we have a segment that we end with called Parting Words of Wisdom. Okay. And we got 2 questions. You're going to give advice to 2 versions of yourself. One, you're going to go back in time and give like this quick 10 seconds of advice to, let's say, the Candace from 10, 12 years ago, before you got into the field. And then you're going to go 5, 10 years in the future. You're going to come back across this podcast. What would you say to that version? So in the past version of yourself and the future version of yourself.
Okay. Past version, I would definitely say to her.
You can say it right to the camera too. All right.
I would say to you, Candace, that you have time, right? Like you have time. Life is going to come, breathe, take it all in moment by moment. Don't rush your life away. So that's what I would say to 10 years prior, Candace. You said 15?
Future 10 years, whatever, yeah.
Future Candace, when you're 29 years old, you're going to be 29 in about 10 years. I understand
wow.
The anticipation of that, before 30. But I would say, be proud of yourself. Take all of the accomplishments that you've achieved over these past 10 plus years. Be proud of what you've done. You've done a lot. You've done a lot of great things. People love you. People admire you. Keep being you. I hope that you stayed you. If you did, stay you for another 10 years when you're 39, So there we go.
That's another breathing moment, Joe. Listen, when your future self watches this, I just hope, look, Candace, shout out to you in the future as well. Let me come to your 30th birthday party. I would love to be there. You know what I'm saying? But no, you have brought a lot to not only obviously the world, but to this podcast, this show. Thank you for coming on. Candace, this is great. All the way from the A.
Yes.
Hold it down with me. Yes. You can find her in the A. All right. Drop, cue the beat.
Right.